Good morning, class. Mr. Parrish again, and today I've got another lesson just like yesterday. So yesterday we talked about the beginning of the Renaissance and how the Renaissance was a rebirth or a revival of culture. And today we're going to do a similar thing, only we're going to talk about Renaissance values. So you're going to want to get out your notes, you're going to want to follow along, and you're going to want to copy these notes into your notebook and probably pause several times, as the video itself will probably only be about 8 minutes, but with writing and all that, it'll probably be about 25 minutes. So we're going to talk today about Renaissance values, and normally I would start off class by talking about what values are, and since it's just me on this side, values are usually the bedrock to any culture, and culture as it grows has things it believes in, things that make it the way it is, and the values itself are usually what the culture is built around. So we're going to talk about 6 Renaissance values today. Tomorrow you're going to have an assignment based on the Renaissance values, so you want to pay close attention here. Take out your notes and copy these down, okay? So number 1 up here on the screen is called classicism, all right? It looks like the word classicism, but it's actually pronounced classicism. But the word classic is important here, because when you think about something and you think of the word classic, you're thinking about something that is admired, something that is old, something that is revered. And so the definition here is the appreciation for the ideas and advancements of the culture of ancient Rome and Greece. Now remember, we talked yesterday about the Renaissance beginning in the 14th century and how these were people living in Italy and how they were inspired by the ruins of ancient Greece, and they looked around and they saw all these advancements and things that they had, that their ancestors had done, and they wanted to celebrate that. And so classicism is basically like a rebirth of that, the rebirth of classic Roman and Greek culture. The second value here is called secularism. And secular is a term that is generally used when talking about religion, and that's where we're going to take this here. But secularism is the belief that certain practices should be separate from religion. So up to this point, remember, in the Middle Ages, everything revolved around the church. Your daily life revolved around the church. This was a new idea. This was the idea that certain things should not be related to the church, that maybe, medicine and the treatment of sick people should not be related to the church. Maybe education should revolve around things other than the church. So the idea that certain practices should be separate from religion, and that religion should be its own thing, and then we should have other things like business and education and medicine and a lot more examples too that we could go through about things that should be separate from the church itself. The third is called well-roundedness. Now, this was also a new idea and something that was about curiosity. And so well-roundedness is, like it says, having an interest in a variety of cultural, scientific, artistic, and practical fields or studies. So this is basically the idea that you should have an interest in a variety of areas, all right? So someone should be interested in art, but also be interested in sports. Someone who is interested in writing and reading, but also interested in, things like performing, or things like, I guess that'd be closely related, but the idea that you should have a variety of interests, okay? So practical fields, fields where you build things, fields that are more hands-on, and then artistic fields, things that are more, that expand your mind. Think of your right and your left brain, things that are very different there. What are we on, number 4? Number 4th, the 4th value here is called individualism, all right? Individualism is the idea that personal expression and intellectual freedom should be encouraged. So the idea to spread your own thoughts, okay? The idea to put your thoughts down on paper. The idea that you can make art that expresses your own personal ideas, all right? A lot of this went with the ideas of curiosity. You saw an explosion of the arts in reading and writing and creating art during this time. And also the idea that our ideas should be expressed too, our ideas about democracy, our ideas about religion. And all that kind of comes about in this particular time period as well. Number 5 is called skepticism. And, the word skeptic is someone who questions authority. Someone, and not to be someone who is a delinquent who questions authority, but someone who questions what is actually being taught to them or being told to them. Okay, so it is this first term here, or this first phrase, questioning the powers that be, questioning ideas, questioning those authoritarian ideas that were put down during the Middle Ages, and now wondering, is that right? And a lot of this goes back to the church. So the idea that the church had spread scientific ideas, and now we were coming up with scientific discoveries that challenged those ideas. And a lot of scientists were considered skeptics, and that's not exactly a bad thing, but the church, being the authority figure at this time, being able to suppress ideas, brought out some skepticism amongst those that were especially educated. This last phrase here that says, honest doubt replaced unreasoning faith. So honest doubt being the ability to reason, the ability to think about what you're being told and wondering whether it's true or not. It replaced unreasoning faith, which is the idea that you should just believe everything that you're told. And these are some of the main ideas behind skepticism. The last one is probably the most important of the values. It's called humanism. Okay, and humanism is kind of like the umbrella value. All the other values kind of fit beneath it. Okay, and it's the idea that everyday life is more important than 100% religious devotion. It's not anti-religion. Don't think about that. But remember, in the Middle Ages, people did not value their daily life. They were more concerned about their afterlife. Well, this is the idea that we should value our daily life. Okay? The second thing here says an interest in human achievement and human potential. The idea that we should study the past and learn from that and take what has been done and build on it. Okay? And then human potential. Where can we go? What can we learn? Okay? And then the last thing, the triumph of personal freedom and gain. The idea that we should celebrate our triumphs. Okay? This is something that the Greeks and the Romans really did. They created heroes, and they created ways for us to celebrate great individual accomplishments. So you're going to see a lot of things come under humanism. So like individualism and secularism and all the values really fit under humanism. Okay, hope you got all that down. Go back and watch again if you need to write some more. This will be how we do a lot of notes from here on out. And I'm not going to do notes every day. As a matter of fact, tomorrow you have an assignment based on the Renaissance values. But hope you got all that down, and have a great day.